Being a mum with PH is very hard. Everyday life I have to change just to accommodate Bobby, make things easier for myself. I just try my best just to be a normal mother as much as I can. Bobby, dinner's ready.
24-year-old Anna Baker is one of 4,000 people across the UK who's been correctly diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension, a life-threatening heart and lung disease that, due to its non-specific symptoms, can often be misdiagnosed as asthma.
The symptoms started when Bobby was about 3 months old. One day I was going upstairs at home. I had 2 flights of stairs to go up into a loft bedroom. When I was coming up the second flight of stairs, I started to get, my heart was racing, my chest was tight, and I felt like I couldn't breathe for a few seconds. I had to sit down. All my muscles in my body felt like they were tensing up. After 5 minutes, this wore off. I felt completely normal again.
Anna had had a normal, healthy life up until this point. She was recently engaged to be married, and her breathlessness had worried her enough to visit her family GP.
They put it down to my underactive thyroid first, then they put it down to being a new mother, perhaps having postnatal depression, and that it would clear up over time.
For the next 12 months, Anna spent a considerable amount of time going back and forth to her doctors, struggling to convince them and herself that the symptoms that were increasingly having a huge impact on her life were genuine.
The breath just kept on carrying on, and the tightness of the chest. Then I started to get, my stomach was very bloated on my face. I developed a really bad chesty cough. Shortly after that, I ended up with swelling in my feet and my legs going up to my knees, and that's when the doctors started to take whatever the illness I had seriously, and then they started to look into it with more tests. When I was taken into the local hospital and given various tests as an inpatient, they came up with the diagnosis that I had primary pulmonary hypertension, and at that point, as the consultants there didn't know much about the illness, they told me that I would have to have a heart and lung transplant, and I needed to be transferred to Papworth in Cambridge.
Anna was devastated and horrified by the news. She was just 23 years of age and had a young son to look after. But the referral to the PH team at Papworth Hospital, one of 8 specialist PH centres across the UK, reassured her that the transplant wasn't the only way forward, and she was placed on a cocktail of medications designed to control the condition and give her back some quality of life. This meant more to Anna than the doctors could ever know.
When I was first diagnosed, I thought that I would have to postpone my wedding. But after 3 months of being on the medication, I started to feel much better again and decided to go ahead with the wedding in September. The wedding was very emotional. To think that I was diagnosed with an illness such as pulmonary hypertension, it was very scary at the time, and because I was so ill, I never thought that I'd be able to see my wedding day. I never thought I'd be getting married. So I just enjoyed the day so much, and I look forward to it, and I felt great. Go on then, on then. You going to get into bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on then. We'll read a story. Some of the things pulmonary hypertension stopped me doing with Bobby are things like running after him when he runs off. I can't pick him up. If he falls over and cries, I have to get him to come to me and sit on my knee. I have to get him to be independent in a sort of way, even though he's so young. I have to get him to climb into the bath himself. He obviously climbs into bed himself. I have to get him to climb into his car seat in the car, but I can lean in to do him up. I have to get him to climb into his pushchair. I do struggle a lot if I have to go shopping to lift him into the trolley, but that is something that I have to do, and if I take him shopping with me, I have no choice. and she waved and waved as the car drove off.
A lack of awareness of pulmonary hypertension caused Anna to spend a bewildering amount of time before being diagnosed and in receipt of the specialist care and medications she so desperately needed, during which time the disease had developed rapidly. Please help PHA UK to raise the profile of this incurable and often fatal condition by supporting our awareness campaign.